Okay, my cloud's full. More cloud space. Yes, there are not enough clouds up there for all my recording. Okay. All right. I just want to share that I learned something last night that reminded me of our classes together. This week's Parsha portion that we will be reading on Shabbat is the story of the spies, the Meraglim, that Moshe sends to check out Israel, how to conquer it. And they come back and they speak about Israel in a way that it scares the Jewish people, and they also come to the conclusion that we will not be able to go into Israel. They're giants, and it's so fortified, and it's impossible to go into Israel and to conquer it. And they were punished. It's called the sin of the spies. And because of them, and it's not only them and what they caused, and the people cried and believed them, except for two people, Yehoshua and Caleb, 2 out of the 12 spies, they actually said, no, we definitely can go in. God is taking us in. It's not us. We don't conquer. It's God. We just have to follow, and he'll take us into Israel, and it is a land of milk and honey. And because we cried on that day that they brought the report, 2 things happened. That day became a sad day in the Jewish nation. It was Tisha B'Av, and Hashem said, you cried for naught, you cried for nothing. So I will make this day that if anything tragic happens in the Jewish nation, it will be on this day, because to make this day a reason to cry. And another thing, I mean, it's a big, I'm just saying sentences, but just to give, I want to get it to a certain point. And the second thing is, because of them, we stayed in the desert 40 years. So that generation that cried did not merit to go in. You didn't want to go in, so you won't go in, but your children will go into. And this is where the 40 years of traveling in the desert started. So 2 points I want to bring out. Point number 1 is the women did not participate in this crying. They believed that God could take us into the Jewish country, into Israel, which is ours. And therefore, all the Jewish women that left Egypt merited to go lived through those 40 years and did merit to go into Israel. Another thing is Rashi mentions on the first verse of this parsha, he says, the last parsha finishes off with the story of Miriam, if you recall, that she spoke about Moses, her brother Moses, and she was afflicted with leprosy because she spoke against him, not against him, about him. She spoke about him that he does not live with his wife anymore because he has to be always prepared to be able to speak to God. And she said, well, me and Aaron also speak to God, and we did not separate from our spouses. So Rashi says, why are these 2 parshas one next to the other? And he answers, because they should have learned from Miriam that you shouldn't talk against, some people say lashon hara, which is talking negative things. And so they should have learned from Miriam, and therefore not spoken about against the Israel, the Holy Land. You don't speak badly against the Holy Land. And being that they didn't learn from her, so they were afflicted also. They should have learned from her. Rebbe points out a different point. He says they didn't speak badly. They said the truth. They said it's a land of giants. They brought fruits that were just incredibly large. and said that the people were so big and forceful and mighty. They spoke the truth. Miriam also spoke the truth. The Rebbe explains here that Miriam was on a much higher level than the Meraglim, which is an incredible thing to say, and for us women to realize. The Meraglim, the spies, were the 12 top people of every tribe, meaning the heads of every tribe. They weren't simple people. Moshe handpicked 12 people and he depended on them. And the Rebbe says you can't compare them to Miriam, who was on a higher level. And that's why Hashem was upset with Miriam that she spoke about Moshe. And he said the truth. He separated from his wife. And God spoke to me and to Aaron, and we didn't separate. So the Rebbe explains the story of Miriam is really also to tell us not only about her greatness, what a great person she was, but also gave us a complete, beautiful look and understanding about Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe who took us out of Mitzrayim and took us through the 40 years, through the Midbar, through the desert. And the Zohar says, in every generation, there is a Moshe. And in every person, there's a part of his soul. It's quoted in the words of the Zohar. He says, Itpashtuta di Moshe bechol dara v'dara. A part of Moshe is in every single generation. And when God explains to Miriam the difference between her and Aaron and Moshe Rabbeinu, we merit to hear from God's own words a description on Moshe, that he's on a completely different level. I speak to him face to face, and to you I speak really from the back, more in a prophecy, and you hear my voice, you don't see me. He's not like you. He's also a very, very humble person. God, and he calls him Avdi Moshe. He is like a slave in the positive sense of the word, that he is completely connected to me, and really describes what Moshe Rabbeinu. So number one, what we learned from the continuation of the story of Miriam, and then last week's parsha, and this week's parsha of the Meraglim is also to tell us the greatness of the Meraglim, who also told the truth about Israel. And the Rebbe explains that the stories that are connected to teach us, they weren't saying falsehood. They said the truth, but they spoke too much. That you shouldn't speak too much. Miriam should have gone directly to Moshe Rabbeinu and said, I don't think it's the right thing for you to separate from your husband, from your spouse, from Tzipporah. And Moshe would have maybe told her an answer, but she spoke to Aharon. Also, the Meraglim, the spies, should have first gone to Moshe Rabbeinu and said, listen, we saw humongous people. We saw things that fortified cities, homes that are very, very big. We were afraid. And Moshe would have put them back on the right track and said, you aren't conquering Israel, it's God. You forgot that you didn't go to see if we can go in. You were supposed to see how we should go in. You came to the wrong conclusion. But instead, they went straight to the masses, straight to the Jewish people and scared them. So the Rebbe teaches us a lesson that we should learn, that when we talk to the right person, talk in a private way. And I felt yesterday when I was learning it, it's so much for our generation, this lesson, that right away things are put onto Facebook. What do you guys think? My neighbor did so and so. Who saw this dog making on our lawn? Who does this belong to? Everything is like spread out first, instead of finding privately out what can be done, speaking to the right person, everything is so easy, just post. Everything's just posted out there instead of, I'll share with you an interesting thing. I'm a coach to a woman, and she was going through a miscarriage, a stillborn actually. And I was helping her through before she had, the baby. And we spoke, giving her strength. Unfortunately, I went through it in my life. I gave her a little bit, some experience and a lot of psychology, a lot of strength. I spoke to her. She had her husband call me and we spoke. And then he called me that she was in the hospital. And we spoke privately, the different steps and different emotions that we'll go through. And I tried to help her as much as possible. Guess what? The next day on Facebook, I see a picture of her in the hospital. And she put it out there. I thought I was giving a private session, helping a woman in a private thing that she and her husband were going through. And then I realized how old-fashioned I am, or how old I am, that personal things are being posted and just spoken out, just out there. And I think this is the lesson the Rebbe wanted us to learn from Miriam. She only spoke to one person, to Aaron, and even that God felt was too much for people on such a high level. He should have known to go straight to Moshe Rabbeinu. But thanks to her, like the Rebbe points out, we got a beautiful description of who Moshe Rabbeinu is from God himself. So there is a lot that we got from her story. Okay, being that we discussed once Miriam, so I figured I had this little piece because it's relevant for the world today, for ourselves, and also it's the Parsha. Okay, what we started doing last week was ashet chil. And I'll just quickly recap. We said, and we will learn it on 3 levels. It was said by Abraham when he came to eulogize Sarah. So it's a husband, a wife song. We call it a song. It's from the Proverbs. We said it was also then written by King Solomon for his mother, Bathsheba, who we learned about, when he married Pharaoh's daughter, and she did not let him open up the temple to bring up the sacrifices, and only Bathsheba was able to wake him up, get the keys, because he was king, and king only his mother is allowed to wake up. Maybe his wife, but he had so many wives, so who should? Anyways, she didn't want him to be woken up because she did not want the sacrifices to be brought to the temple. And then he realized, he compared his wife to his mother. I think our kids probably do the time. And he wrote down this proverb, this chapter. It's chapter 31. We'll soon see it inside. And also, our sages say it is actually a song on the Torah. The Torah is the wife of God, and we are like the children that listen to the mother, to the wife. Okay, so we will learn every verse on these 3 levels. Okay, so we did actually the first verb, and we're up to the second one. Let me see if I have it. Here, where did it disappear? I did have it. 1 second. Here, so I'll have to find it again. I did prepare it on my screen. Let me put you down for a second. I mean, not put you down, but smaller. Oh, here it is. Just 1 second, please. Here it is. Okay. So we learned that, we mentioned that Eshet Chil was written in, it starts from verse 10 in chapter 31 in Proverbs. We did Eshet Chil, the first one, and now we're doing the second one. And as you notice, it goes according to the Aleph base. The Torah was given with these letters. It's the Holy Tongue, and it covers all the letters of the Aleph Bet. Okay, so we are on the second letter. Batach ba lev ba'ala v'shalal lo yichsar. Her husband puts confidence in her and lacks no good things. Okay, shalal means booty. Lo yichsar, there will be no lack in stuff, in things. Here it translates in good things. Batach is from the word betach b'Hashem, you know, batach. He has confidence, security, belief. It's in Hebrew, there's two words. There's emunah and there's bitachon. It's confidence, it's belief. So he believes in her, her husband's heart believes in her, trusts her, and therefore, this is the fact, and this is the reaction. The end result is that there was nothing missing in their connection, in their house. And okay, so let's try to discuss it. Okay, everybody got this? The verses are quite short, so now let's discuss it. Okay, so it's a beautiful, it's a second verse, and it puts down a very basic thing. We'll take it in few different levels. Okay, so let's start from the first level. If we're talking about as a couple, having faith one in the other, belief in each other, trust in each other. I'm rereading for the 100th time Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a very, very good book. I recommend it for everybody. And there he actually tells a story of a person who calls him up. He needs help in his marriage because his wife, he did a seminar. Stephen Covey helped companies organize, people get to their potentials. This is his field of working to your potential, how to get to it, and reorganizing your life. It's a very, very, it's a very good book. I do suggest everybody read it. Anyway, so he says in one of his seminars, a person came over to him and said to him, "I'm really not enjoying it." So he says, "Why?" He says, "I love the classes. I love where we are. I love the food. It's a nice getaway. Everything's great." So he says, "So why don't you like it?" He says, "Because I think of the drill of questions when I come home, my wife will make me go through. She'll say, who did you eat with? Who did you sit with? What did he say? Who did you chat with? Did you go for walks? Who did you go for a walk with?" And the whole drill. What did you learn? When did you go to sleep? When did you get up? The whole drill. So he says, "Why do you think she does?" She says, "I don't know, and I can't stand it. And that's why I can't even enjoy while I'm sitting here, because I'm thinking of the drill when I go home." So he says, and maybe there's something behind it. So he says, "Well, could be, because I actually met her on such a getaway weekend, and I was married at that time." So he says to him, "You can't undo certain things." That's what happened. So you see, your wife is not on a trust level with yourself, with you. So here he's saying, the first thing for a happy home to enjoy a weekend, or I'm just saying that as a joke, but is trust one in the other, to get rid of doubts, and to build that trust. When I teach the 10 Commandments, I always say the first one is God is taking away any doubts. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am your God. What, we didn't know? Why does he have to tell us? Coming to the chuppah and saying, hi, I'm Esther. I know. It shows you to be my wife. What are we saying? We're saying, listen, I'm your wife. Everything else is like, please, no, getting rid of doubts. This is my husband. This is my wife. And the second one, lo yelecha, you should not have any other gods, meaning have confidence in the person that you married, and no comparing. There should be no other. Don't compare. So this is a very basic, fundamental principle in Judaism. If we talk about Torah, that Hashem is our God. He only wants for our good. We don't compare ourselves to other religions, thank God. Actually, they all took from ours, right? And knowing that what we're doing is the right thing. Could be in the modern world, people will say, well, it was good for the desert, or it was good for 2,000 years ago, but now things have to change. We have to believe in God, that the Torah, our principle, is forever. Actually, this is one of the points in his book. Everybody has a center that he works from, family or friends, and what it does to you. You run your life based on that center. But when you have a principle center, then whatever happens, it's connected to that principle. It doesn't change. Friends change, children change, family changes, jobs change. If your principle does not change, and that's forever. So if we could say, when you trust the Torah, so the world changes, but we're still with that basic principle of ours, which is the Torah. And the same thing, it's in marriage, and the same thing is with children. That trust in our children, believing in them, knowing this is a child. I maybe imagined I'll have something else. It'll be different. Will look more like me, look more like that, behave more, disappointments, but trust the child. Believe that this is the child that God sent you and wanted you to bring up and take care of and love and everything. There are many people still stuck on if he will be. And I do believe he can. So show it to him, say it to him. Don't believe in theory. Believe in the child. Meaning if he'll go through this and this, then believe in him the way he is now. Which is a very important thing that he's saying here. Our commentaries say that when a husband trusts his wife in the money, it goes down, really down to earth. The Malbim says, a husband trusts his wife in the financial, that she doesn't want to ruin him or ruin this, the status of the family life. And so he gives her money for shopping and gives her money for supplying the house with its needs. I just read this week, somebody sent me a cute WhatsApp, maybe Simcha Sword, I think it was in the same group that Simcha and I are on, that in Oxford, I think it was a literature group, had 200 men had to write one sentence on that explains peace, happiness, and I think economy. Yes, peace, happiness, and economy in one sentence. So the person who got the prize wrote, "My wife is sleeping." I loved it. He got a standing ovation. He won over 199 other people. "My wife is sleeping." I gets peace, happiness, and that's very economical. She's not on the internet shopping. Anyway, the Torah actually takes it the other way around. The Malbim says a husband should trust his wife when he gives her money for the week, for the month. He should not check her. Where did the money go? The Alshich, who is another sage, he says he trusts her in all the areas of halacha, of Torah. He does not have to check, where did you buy this? Is it kosher? Is it not? In Shabbat or in anything that she's in charge of in the household, he should not go checking if she is doing according to Torah or not. A husband should trust his wife. And this is also a very basic thing that I work with couples. Whatever she's in charge of, you don't check, trust her. The only thing that it says in the Gemara, husbands could ask his wife on Friday, he should remind her, if whoever lives in Israel, did you take off the tith, the maaser of the produce that we were supposed to take off to give to the priests? We still do it till today. Okay, now most of our shops do it for us, so we don't have to do it. And he also reminds her to light Shabbos candles, but he doesn't check if this is kosher or it's not kosher, where did you buy it, or stuff like that. How did you cook it? Okay. Okay, and therefore he says this, because of his trust, he will be rewarded, they will be rewarded with a house that is not lacking anything. Shalal lo yachsar, there will be no lack in the house. So if anybody's looking for a how to make a happy, healthy home, start with trust in each other. Trust in what each person does. Don't go checking, don't go asking, whether it's as a mother. I also speak to mothers and I say, don't compare yourself to other mothers and then you feel that you are not doing a good job. You are the best mother. Trust yourself as a mother. What you did, you were the mother God chose for your child. Trust yourself in your motherhood. And don't compare other women, other mothers to yourselves. Believe in yourself as a mother. Our sages also bring it and say that this verse was written, like I said before, for Sarah, and brings out the point that when Sarah and Abraham had a little, not a glitch, but part of their journey was that when it was a hunger, we learned about it, they went down to Egypt. And Abram says to her, tell them you're my sister. They were cousins, and they were from the same family, so it wasn't like a lie. And then they won't kill me, because if they find out we're husband and wife, they'll kill me so you could marry the king. And then he said, and they will reward me, in your merit. Now that sounds like not really a right thing to say. You'll be taken, but I will be rewarded, it sounded like. And our sages say that he trusted her completely, that she will find a way out to protect herself and to protect him. Meaning he went there saying, I'm really in your hands. And I trust you. And he was rewarded for that trust. Avimelech did give him a lot of riches, gold, silver, cattle, the works. And it says in the Torah, he was blessed because of her. And our sages say, what did she do? What did she do? And they answer, she caused him to trust her. They knew they were going into a challenging situation. They were going down to Egypt, and she was a beautiful woman. And he said to her, This is dangerous. Every beautiful woman is taken to the king. What are we going to do? Our love, our marriage, our connection, it's going to be challenged. So it says he trusted her. So she must have said, it doesn't say the second part of the conversation, that she said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Don't panic. And he said, okay, I'll say that I'm your brother. And the rest is up to you. The rest is up to you. And we see the end result, that they were blessed. And she was later also blessed. Quite close after that came the blessing that she became pregnant with Yitzchak. Another commentary says that it's talking about Esther, another woman that we learned about, the Queen Esther, that Mordechai told her, go to the king. Till that point, the Megillah tells us that Esther listened to Mordechai. Till that point. And then when this problem happened, which was 9 years later after she was chosen, he sat there 9 years wondering, what am I doing here in this palace? Mordechai's wife. Many, our sages do tell us she used to sneak out to go home to her own house, go to the mikveh and to be with Mordechai. And for 9 years, she said, there must be a reason that I'm stuck in that silver gold castle, not knowing what to do there. And then when Mordechai found out the decree on the Jewish people, he said, go to Achashverosh. We remember we discussed it, that she said, if I go, I will never be able to go back to you, because if I go for my own accord, you can't go back to your husband. So he said, I trust you. And then the rest of the Megillah is all about Esther telling Mordechai what to do. And he doesn't tell her the plan. The whole plan of the 2 meals, feast that she makes, and she builds up and everything else, and she tells him, take all the Jews and they should fast for me for 3 days. It's Esther giving the instructions. And where did she have that strength? Till then, she was listening to Mordechai. And our sages say that it's because he trusted her, and he said, go, and I trust you. You make the plan. I'm not going to be out of the castle telling you what to do in the castle. I just know that now we realize why you were chosen. And he gave her that power of trust. And that made her a leader. That made her a powerful woman by giving her the power of trust. The first Lubavitcher Rebbe writes about it. I have it here in details. It says, Batach ba lev bala. He uses the pasuk, the phrase here from Eshet Chayil, that Mordechai trusted Esther completely. And that gave her to use her own mind to figure out the best way to save the Jewish people. So this verse is teaching us in all levels life, whether it's parents to children, it's friends, and it's trust in the Torah. Trust in the Torah. That principal core of ours should be trust the Torah. When God said keep Shabbat, he knew what he was saying. When he said don't eat milk and meat, he knew what he was saying, and it's a forever thing. It's not just for that time the people didn't have the right milk process or the right meat process, so it wasn't good for their stomachs. No, it's the right thing to do. The power of trust brings, and as the rest of the verse says, let's look at it, the verse again. And then we could go maybe start the next verse. And when you have confidence, you lack no good things. Okay, So we could say the second verse teaches us, I'd just like to finish this idea with a story. In 1982, the Rebbe asked for a book to be printed, the Tanya, which is the basic book of Hasidism, to be printed by a certain date. And it was like basically impossible to get it done. It's not just the printing, but in a certain way with a lot of commentaries, to publish a book in a very short time. And the Rebbe gave it over to some people, some Hasidim, and it was like impossible. But they got it done. They got it done for Yutet Kislev, the date that the Rebbe asked them to. And they worked 24 hours around the clock, and it was done. And then Shabbat, the Rebbe spoke, and he said there at the Fabrengen, at the public address that he presented to the public, he told the story. And he said, I knew that I was giving them something that actually, technically, naturally, in the system of the world, it cannot be done in this short time. But I believed that they would do it. So they broke boundaries of nature. Meaning when the Rebbe even told them, he actually knew it can't be done. But what did he didn't give over that message. He gave over the message that he believed that they could get it done. And he said there, they did it and broke laws of nature and got a book printed with all the details that the Rebbe wanted in this short time. So when people say, I was brought up this way, my father never let us say, I don't know, or I can't. You had to say, I'll look it up. And it wasn't Google at that time. You had to go to the library, find the right book, read it, and get him an answer. It was a long journey to get to look it up. And there was never, I can't. You could say, I'll try. I'll see how to do it. I'll study it. But there was no such a thing of I can't or I don't know. Because he believed that we can. And like sometimes we really had to pluck it, really, really had to prove ourselves. But, in the long run, we all are big pushers to achieve. We should stop a little bit, but that comes from his belief that you could do it. He never said you can't do it. And it's something that I wish I could have given over to my kids, but I'm not that good at that. Belief. Okay. So if we summarize, it's belief in your marriage or in the person you're connected to, as belief in yourself as a parent, as your mother, as a mother, and belief in your child. Belief in the Torah, in the three things. And then we could go, do we have time for the next one or just to start it? Anybody? So let's just read the next one and we'll continue it the next week. Okay. Malatu tov v'lo ra kol yemei chaya. She is good to him, never bad, all the days of her life. Also, we could do this in the three levels. That the spouse, if we're talking about Avram and Sarah, or if we take it to our own lives, or a mother to a child, or the Torah, it's good always. It's not just for certain times in our lives. And also the belief that everything that we do is based on good and not bad. But we will discuss next week, why does it say good and not bad? If it's good, Of course it's not bad. Why the double language here? Okay, I'll just give you a short hint. Sharing, short hint. We say every morning in our prayers, Hagomel chasadim tovim lamo Israel, that God grants us goodness. Milut chasadim, kindness, good kindness. So the question is again, if it's kindness, why do you have to say good kindness? Gomel chasadim, good, charitable deeds. If it's a charitable deed, it's good. So one of the answers is that it's a revealed good. What we're praying to God is, we do believe that everything you do for us is good. It's all for the good. But we don't always see it. We see a tragedy. We see Corona. We see a war. We see a lot of things, and we know God is behind it. We have to come from the belief there's good behind all this. It's done for our good. It's done for the person that it happened to. It's for their good. They will grow from it. You know, and I'm still reading. It was 30 days of the Miron tragedy, what happened in Miron. And I'm still reading the stories. And you hear the family saying, you know, if it's written that the person should be gone, I'm happy that my husband or my child died in Iran in a holy place, and he's part of these special people that were chosen, and it wasn't a terrible car accident or a tragic thing. How they're seeing the good, and how they're seeing the good in the Jewish people that are surrounding them with a lot of comfort and financial, and we see it as a tragedy. It is a tragedy. Nobody should go around saying, no, this is a happy occasion. It's a tragedy. We're asking God that even the good that he wants to bestow on us, we know everything is good. Let us see the good of it. Let us be able to see the good. And when I sit with couples, I say, why do you think that he was late? Why do you always go straight, oh, he doesn't care about me? Or he forgot I had a class, or he doesn't think about me. Maybe he was stuck in traffic. Maybe somebody called. Maybe he was helping somebody. Maybe he was trying to surprise you with something. First, see the good. Don't go immediately to a negative conclusion. Same thing with a child. Don't right away think, he doesn't listen to me. He's a brat. He try to find out. It might be coming from a good place. He's hyperactive. Find the goodness of a hyperactive child. Channel it to the positive thing. Find the good in everything, in every situation. There's a story of a teacher once coming to class, and he was running late. And and as he was getting into the gate, he saw that, and he felt very bad, and he was, he knew he was late, and the principal will notice his whole class is running in the hall. And as he was coming into class, one of the kids was tapping on his watch. He said he wanted to kill the kid. Like, who are you, my principal? Like, tapping on your watch, like telling me I'm late, no, look what time it is, and stuff like that. He said he was about to kick the kid out. Wa chutzpah, you're timing me, or something like that. But because he was late, he started the class, but it ruined his feeling, and he couldn't look at the kid. And the kid was smiling to him the whole time, and he was like so angry. And after class, the kid comes over to him and he says, did you see my new watch? I got a new watch. The kid was not at all, and this was a child that needed attention and never got a gift. It was the first time that he came with something new in class. He said, if I would have gone with my instinct, my first thought, because I was coming from a guilty place. And the child standing there, no, you know, like he said, I would have murdered this child. I mean, not metaphorically, but I would have killed him. The child was in such a high. Here I was able to say, wow, how gorgeous, wow, what a beautiful watch. You gave it to me and gave it to you. And he was able to elaborate and tell his story. I would have kicked him out of class. Could you imagine what would have happened to that child? So Gmalat Hutov Elana is saying it as a fact. The Gimel, we're going to the Gimel also, maybe we'll discuss the letters according to Kabbalah a little bit. Gimel is to give. Ligmol, which means to give. And it's also in that way, it has the stick of the foot. Okay, we'll discuss maybe the letters next week. Shouldn't be on one foot. Gimel has 2 feet. Not all the letters are standing on 2 feet. The Gimel is standing on 2 feet. It's the giving. And to feel that giving all the time, the goodness. We should connect and think first positive on our friends, on our spouses, on our children, and on the Torah. That what the Torah is telling us, it's not a limitation. It's not a list of rules of do's and don'ts. It's something that's given to us full of love, the right way to conduct ourselves in this world, to take care of the world, to take care of each other, to take care of people. In every single law is not to limit and to choke us. It's actually to bring out our potentials. It's to free us from other things that are going on in the world, that we should really be able to live a healthy life. Okay, I'll stop here because I have another class. So the classes will be like from 10 to 11, okay? Is it okay? And I'm shortening it by 10 minutes, but I took upon myself another class, so I really have to start cutting it. Okay? See you next week. We'll discuss
Thank you.
And more.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Esther.
Everybody. You're
Toda
welcome,
raba.
Melkalea. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.